I'm Sue, and I'm here to talk to you about the history of Girl Scout cookies. I started Girl Scouts in 1962, and I've been selling cookies ever since then. So I think I know a little bit about Girl Scout cookies. Girl Scout cookies started a little over 100 years ago, but it started a little bit before that. Our founder, Juliet Gordon Low, was living in Scotland when she heard about Girl Guides starting in England, and so she began a troop in Scotland. The very first Girl Guide troop started in Warwickshire, Scotland. But they needed money, just like you need money for your troop. And so they put their minds together and they thought, what could we do? Well, every girl had chickens and every home had eggs. And the more eggs that were laid, they could sell. So they helped feed the chickens, take care of the chickens, and sell the eggs. And then once they got the eggs, they could buy flour and bake goods for the people in the village that they lived in. And so that's how they got money to run their Girl Guide troop. Well, Juliet Low left Scotland soon after that, but she still knew that girls could sell baked goods and things like that to help get money for their troops. So Girl Scouts started in the US in 1912. By 1919, girls were getting together to decide what they were going to do in their troops, and they needed money. So in 1917, a troop in Muskogee, Oklahoma, baked cookies, plain sugar cookies, for their high school, and they sold them. And that's how Girl Scout cookies began. But we've grown a whole lot since then. In 1923, the First Lady of the United States, Mrs. Grace Coolidge, helped support the Girl Scouts in selling cookies. She had gone to a rally where a lot of Girl Scouts were showing off their baked goods. Now, those cookies were wrapped in wax paper, and there was a dozen cookies in the package, just plain sugar cookies. Anyway, she tasted them and then told everyone how delicious they were, and word spread everywhere that Girl Scouts had great cookies.
In middle 1920s, Grace Coolidge is First Lady of the land and honorary member of the Scouts. Here on White House lawn, she tries Girl Scout cakes and finds that scouting has sure taught the troopers how to cook a cookie. In 1925, at Roslyn, Virginia, Mrs. Calvin Coolidge again officiates, this time to award prizes to leading scouts and troops. With her are founder Juliet Low and Mrs. Herbert Hoover, all three of them dressed in the latest Girl Scout fashion of the day.
So that's pretty exciting when someone supports Girl Scout cookies nationwide. But that wasn't all. We grew like wildfire. In 1922, the recipe for Girl Scout cookies was printed in this American Girl magazine. American Girl magazine was owned by Girl Scouts at the time, and that recipe spread through all the girls who had that magazine, and they got together and they started baking that very same recipe. Well, Girl Scout cookies became very famous at that time, across the nation, in all kinds of cities and towns. It wasn't until 1935 when actual companies started making and manufacturing cookies in boxes. At that time, they started with small bakers, but then grew to 29 different bakers across the country. 29 different recipes, kinds of cookies, kinds of ways of packaging them. This one's a metal tin. So in 1941, World War II broke out, on both sides worldwide, and rationing had to happen. No flour, no sugar, no butter. That all had to be rationed to families. And so cookies could not be sold. So we pivoted and started selling calendars. Calendars were good because girls could put their pictures and their paintings in the calendars and get those sold and distributed. As soon as the war ended, though, it was time to go back to selling cookies, and boy did we ever sell cookies. 29 different bakers started making Girl Scout cookies. We were famous everywhere. When I was a Girl Scout, I sold cookies from Bury Baker. They looked much like these did, just a shortbread and a peanut butter. Anyway, we've been through our transitions, but girls sell cookies now. Here is an example of the many different kinds of cookies that the 29 different bakers sold as Girl Scout cookies. Now there are only 2 bakers, Little Brownie Baker and ABC Baker. In 1992, even our astronaut, Jan Davis, went to space with a box of Girl Scout cookies and showed them off on camera so that everyone could see that not only was she an astronaut, but she was a Girl Scout as well. Girl Scout cookies are a national treasure.
And he found the girl with the Thin Mints. He traded a football for an entire box. That's some Girl Scout ingenuity. High fives for her. She gets a souvenir. And Casey, take the Thin Mints with him.
Girl Scout cookies practically sell themselves. Anyway, it's time for you to sell your Girl Scout cookies. I've given you a little tidbit of history, but you have history to make as well. Go out there, sell your cookies, support your troops, and thank you very much. Have a good day.